Hey, before we start the video, I would kindly ask that you like and subscribe to our channel. We love the content that we're providing for you, and I hope you enjoy it as well. Good afternoon, everybody. Time for another BrickBucks update. Once again, my name is Jim, and this is where we talk about Lego investing and reselling. So I am going to answer, hopefully today, a question that I have been asked so many times during the last 10 months or so. Is selling Lego something I can do full-time and quit my full-time job? So before we dive in, I would just like to talk about my situation, which I think will help a lot of people make a better informed decision if selling Lego is something that is right for them when it comes to a full-time job. Now, I've had a lot of people approach me and ask me if selling Lego is something I do full-time. And the answer is no. I do have a full-time job. I put in 50 hours a week. Now, I don't want to call selling Lego for myself a side hustle because, in all honesty, I mean, I've done multiple six figures last Q4 and throughout all of 2020. I do have a full-time job, and in addition to selling Lego, I am cranking out quite a few BrickBucks videos so I could try and engage and, contribute to the learning of people that are wanting to sell Lego. So for me, if I wanted to quit my full-time job, could I survive off of Lego? The answer is yes, but it really wouldn't be for a long period of time. Right now, I would say that I would give myself maybe 4 to 6 years of surviving off of selling Lego before the well went empty and I would have to go and find a job. Now, for me, what my goal is, right now I'm 45 years old. Whenever I hit 50, I'm going to reevaluate the situation. I'm going to see what's going on in my life and in the world. And then I'm going to see if I could step away from my job. Now, here's the thing for me. If I were to quit my full-time job and sell Lego full-time, I would come up with another side hustle. I've been an entrepreneur for, over a decade now. It's something that I always enjoy. And I have a couple side hustles in mind. And I understand once I, put a lot of energy into the side hustles, that will probably be generating quite a bit of revenue as well. And then I'll be back into the position of, should I, cash my chips in on Lego and, turn my side hustle into a full-time job. So for me, I really don't feel that it's a good fit for me to walk away from my full-time job. But I do get that question quite often. Am I able to quit my full-time job and sell Lego? And I'm going to walk through a few scenarios with you and try and answer that question. All right, so let's look at example number 1. We have right here, we're going to go back in time a little bit to 2020, and you're going to see that you are pulling in a zero salary when it comes to Lego, and that's because you have your full-time job. All you're doing your first year of your Lego business is buying Lego. And we're going to buy $80,000 of Lego in 2020. So for those of you that are, wanting to possibly quit your job, I don't want to say I recommend 80,000 because I wouldn't recommend quitting my full-time job and selling Lego to begin with. But for me, if there was a gun to my head, $80,000 is a comfortable number. And you're going to eventually, hit Q4 of 2020. Again, you're not going to be selling any Lego because all you're doing is buying. So you're going to be buying $80,000 of Lego and you're going to have a zero return on investment for that year. Now, when 2021 comes around, your salary for 2021 is going to be zero because you need to have those Lego sets appreciate, right? You just can't buy all these Legos in Q4 and then when January hits, you hit the button and poof, that $80,000 now turns into $240,000. So you can see right here, I have a return on investment as 200%. Now, here's the better question I think everybody should be asking. You shouldn't be asking yourself, can I quit my full-time job to sell Lego? You should be asking yourself, can I legitimately make 200% at least return on investment after buying and holding Lego for 12 months. There are some people, I'm sure, with the laws of statistics and averages, there's probably a couple people out of 100 that might be able to do it, but that percentage is very, very low. But let's say it happens, and good job for you. You have sold $240,000 in Lego. Now you have fees, and I took the fees at 35%. Sometimes it could be a little bit more, and sometimes, depending on what platform you use to sell, it could be a little bit less too. So when you minus that $84,000, your take home is $156,000. Now you are going to want to start that cycle up again, and you're going to be buying $80,000 worth of Lego. Now keep in mind, you can only be buying Lego after you've sold Lego, right? So let's say you start selling your first Lego in October, the first month of Q4. You really can't buy anything until you get your first bank draft. So that's when you start buying. Now, you will have a salary of $76,000, which is before taxes. You will be paying taxes out of that because you are paying yourself. So that is example number one. So when we get to the next spreadsheet, we are going to continue example number one. All of this right here in these columns is the last column you just saw. I just wanted to do kind of rinse, wash, and repeat to, this is something you're going to have to do for 2023. You're going to have to give yourself a salary of $76,000. Now, here's the deal. Some of you may be saying, well, Jim, I don't need $76,000. That's great, but here's the deal. If you're not working, you may want to see the world. You may want to at least go on a couple vacations. You may want to do quite a few other things. So if you say to yourself, I could survive on $35,000, it's not that I don't have faith that that's something you can do, but it's going to get boring really quick. So I highly recommend trying to get a salary of $76,000. I actually recommend $80,000, but the way the math turned out, it came out to $76,000. So that's it for example number one. This is what you did your first year of sales, and then you do the rinse, wash, and repeat, and you continue that on as the years continue. So here's example two, and we're going to talk about, again, using that $80,000, and let's say your return on investment is only going to be 100%, which I don't think it would be that low. I mean, for myself, I think my lowest return on investment for Q4 last year was 111%, but still, I really have doubts that everybody is going to be able to get 200% return on investment with every single set that they purchase. So you're going to do what you did in example number one, but your return on investment is only going to be 100%. That means you've only done $160,000 in sales. When it comes to your Amazon and other platform fees, they're going to take out $56,000. Your take home would be $104,000, which means we want to keep on buying at $80,000, right? So that means your salary is only going to be $24,000, which is before taxes. So you're probably going to be somewhere around $20,000. Now, if you have children, you're going to be getting, a pretty hefty refund. So you have that to account for as well. But that's pretty much it with example two at 100%. Now, when we get to example number three, I did a scenario of having 150% return on investment, which is somewhat reasonable. But once again, folks, here's the thing. You are betting essentially that the sets that you are holding on to will retire 100% across the board, and they will all be doing at least 150% or more. That is quite a lot of risk if you're asking me. But we're going to go ahead and walk through the scenario. We're going to go ahead and do $80,000 again. And congratulations, you have $200,000 in sales. That's amazing. Your fees are $70,000. Your take home is $130,000, which is not bad. And you have to buy $80,000 again. So your salary will be before taxes $50,000. There you go. And I'm going to be honest, folks, if I was watching Lego investing and reselling YouTube videos when I was a teenager, by the time I turned 21, 22, I could see myself possibly doing this and living off maybe $24,000, attempting to at least. I mean, we're all starving college students at that time, right? Or we're in the military or other things. But $50,000, if I had a lot of drive and determination, you know, that's something that I could afford living with until I'm probably 26, and then I'm going to want to make myself a little bit more established. So I'm sure that's a scenario that might actually work for some people. Now, I'm going to share with you an example number 4, something that I am more comfortable with. Now, in example number 4, I'm going to share with you an example that I'm a lot more comfortable with. So let's say in 2020, I purchased $200,000 in Lego. But Jim, where did you get that $200,000 to purchase Lego? Well, that's a great question. I got that $200,000 because I sold it the previous year, because I had an inventory value at $600,000 already, and I've already been selling Lego for almost 10 years. So that's something that I would be comfortable doing because I have a reserve, not of liquidity, but of Lego. So that for me is kind of a safety net. And then we look at the rest of the example. So again, my salary in 2021 would be $0 off of Lego because my intention is to start drawing a salary in 2022. So I sold $200,000 in Lego, which gave me 100% return on investment. Good for me, right? Now, when you look at the fees, and my friend, that's a lot of fees right there. We have $140,000 in fees. That, you know, it's just the nature of the game, my friends. You know, so that would be taking out of my total sales, and then my take home would be $260,000, and then I would be putting $200,000 back into buying Lego, back into the recycling, rinse, wash, repeat cycle, and, you know, hopefully continue to replicate that for many years to come. And then I have $400,000 of Lego ready to be launched the following year in 2022, right? So I would give myself a salary of $60,000. Now, here's the problem with this. For me, $60,000 really isn't a lot of money. I mean, it is. I would prefer if it would be closer to $80,000. So if I played with the numbers, I could probably figure out how to get $80,000. Maybe if I jack the return on investment up to 120 or 130%, realistically, if that's something that would actually happen, that might take me closer to $80,000. But this right here, having a safety net of $400,000, not in liquidity, but in Lego inventory sitting on the shelf, ready to go for the following year, that would make me feel a lot more comfortable. And then I might say, you know what? I am going to go ahead and attempt to quit my full-time job and do Lego. And since I no longer have a full-time job from a company, I would be self-employed full-time. I would have a little bit more time because I'm not worrying about Lego whenever I'm not working. So I would start another side hustle. And then after, you know, 6 months to a year, it would start to consume my life, and then I would be back to being a very busy person again. So that, my friends, I hope you were with me during the entire video. If you are, good for you. I highly congratulate you on that. I would love to hear your comments. I would love to hear if anybody currently lives off Lego and they don't have a paycheck from, you know, a third-party company or all those other things. Hope you enjoyed the video, my friends. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Once again, I'm Jim with BrickBucks.net. Always go out there and get it.